So my name's Jennifer Lima, and this subject is important to me for many reasons.
Can you speak up, please?
Oh, sure. I'm not a teacher. I don't have that projection voice, but I'll try. I'm the parent of 4 children, 3 of whom are biracial, and they've all been or are currently being educated within the North Kingstown school systems. I'm the founder and president of a group here in town called Towards an Anti-Racist North Kingstown, and I'm also a recently elected member of the school committee here. In March 2021, the North Kingstown School Committee unanimously approved the creation of a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusivity Subcommittee. We refer to it here in town as the DEI. The subcommittee, of which I am the co-chair, held its first 2 meetings in May and June. By the time it had its 3rd meeting in August, it was already under fire. Claims that it was a solution in search of a problem and that racism does not exist in North Kingstown have been leveled by a small but vocal group here in town that's been organized to aggressively promote the idea that working to wipe out racism is actually harmful. That same group is currently attempting to have me removed from my school committee seat. This attempt fits in with the broader strategy that we see playing out across our country to overturn election results and try to replace school board members who support anti-racism education. But this fight isn't about me, it's about our students. All of our students deserve to be safe, be seen, and feel valued. And that is an area that we can and must do better. Since I have come into this work, I have been blessed to have been reached out to by many students, current and former, who have shared some of their experiences with me. And I want to share just a couple pieces of some of the emails that I've received. One of them has said to me, "I have stayed quiet for a long time about the racism I endured within our school system because I didn't feel as though there was a safe space to discuss this issue. Additionally, as a child, I didn't fully comprehend that the racism I was experiencing was something that my BIPOC peers were experiencing as well. We convinced ourselves that these were isolated incidents, when in truth, the intolerance was embedded in the culture of an institution that did not protect us from hatred and discrimination. It is frustrating and saddening that members of the BIPOC community feel as though the only way to truly be heard when speaking in defense of the DEI affinity groups and the essential work that lies ahead of them is to revisit our past trauma for an audience. It goes to show the ignorance of our community as a whole, both residents and educators, when it comes to the treatment of BIPOC students within our district." That was part of an email that was shared with me. Another student shared with me that we BIPOC students felt so isolated that we did not often report any of this racially motivated bullying. Some of us thought wrongly that they were isolated incidents, others were just too afraid to say anything, and still others were convinced that it did not matter because nothing would change. We needed support. We needed an affinity group, someone to turn to who understood what it was like to be in a place where we were so underrepresented. I can assure you that this is still happening. And now we just want students like us to have somewhere to go when it happens. So I just want to say that just because acts of racism go unreported, and make no mistake, there are documented instances. Those who claim that there are not any are wrong. But just because they are not being reported doesn't mean that it's not happening. And I believe that the first step in bridging some of the division that currently exists within our communities is being open to the idea that not everyone walks through life with the same experiences. You know, we solve problems by having honest and courageous conversations about them. Banning conversations about racism in the schools, aside from being a form of censorship, does not allow these conversations to happen. And this is not about the future of our local schools, but it's also about ensuring that students nationwide receive a complete education when it comes to history. We must allow children to think critically, to ask questions, and to draw conclusions for themselves, even in topics that don't reflect the proudest moments of our history. Learning the full picture of our historical backgrounds can allow for a better world moving forward, so we can learn from our history instead of repeating it. We cannot give in to the pressure to keep our educators from teaching the truth about our country's true racial history and how it continues to shape our lives today. History itself will show us that when we work together across our differences, we can accomplish great things for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our neighbors, but most importantly, for our children. Thank you guys for coming today.